I ran up a check, I might do it again. Enemies close, had me thinking they're friends. 10 toes down, I'll be free until the end. Crib outside the city, I don't feel safe in my hands. Took so many years, I'm just waiting for the wins. I'm in debt to no one but the one who took my sins. I do it for real, there's no reason to pretend. If I do it once, I do it again.
Hello everyone, welcome to the Spot Real Talk. My name is Tiara.
I'm Tiffany.
And I'm Ron.
And today we are back here for another recap of Force. This is season 2, episode 2, titled Great Consequence. But before we get into the conversation, please make sure you guys subscribe to our channel, click that like button, and also the notification bell. Now that we got the house cleaning out the way, let's jump into the conversation about this episode, because there were definitely some great consequences.
Oh yeah.
Man, where do we even start with this one?
Tommy was being Tommy.
Yeah, well, that's a good place to start.
That part.
Yeah.
I was thinking about the whole situation with Tommy and handling Chewie, and I knew that was gonna come back to bite him eventually. We said that last week in our recap. So this week the cops have discovered Chewie's body. And I mean, Tommy's point was he had to make an example out of Chewie, and you understand that when you in that street life.
Yep.
Like, you do have to make your point and let your dominance be felt. So I get it. Tiff, you look like you got something.
I'm just saying, but like I said, Tommy's being Tommy, and that's something that Ghost would talk about too. Like, they would be on the same page as far as exacting revenge. Sometimes it's about timing and about thinking things through, which Tommy doesn't always do. He reacts. He's very impulsive and things. And like Diamond said, he was like, wait, let's think about this. And he didn't. So now there's going to be great consequences.
Exactly. And I was about to say, that was Diamond's exact point. Like, you really about to start a war here, because Tommy, they're not just gonna let Chewie's death slide.
But Tommy tickled me when he said, "It sound, you sound just like my former boss."
Yeah, you're a former partner, right? He did, because Diamond is a thinker, like Ghost.
Yeah, I don't know though. I think Chewie would have been a huge problem for Tommy. And I think that taking him out in the fashion that he did, I don't know what else he could have done. Now, I don't know if he has to worry too much now. Jenard did tell his boys to kind of, drop back.
He didn't have a choice.
Yeah, he didn't have a choice. And he can't bring that heat to himself anyway, because that's
he wasn't gonna win. And Diamond told him that.
Exactly.
Basically.
Exactly. Precisely.
Yeah, but we see that Jenard got another outlier in his crew. So it's like, every time you turn around, that's what I said last week about trying to regroup while this turmoil going on. You got flip-floppers on both sides now. So it's like, that's never good for business.
No.
One thing that I was curious about, because in the first episode, they were telling each other's crew that when they saw each other, it was on sight. Jenard said that about Diamond. He was like, if you see him and they cross him, it's on sight, take him out. But when Diamond pulled up, it was none of that energy. It was like they frisked him, they took his gun and stuff. I was like, what happened on sight?
Exactly.
I think, even if I was a part of the crew, I would have waited too, because brothers, they do have their little moments, and the last thing you want to do is just take him out like that on GP, and then Jenard get in your butt because you made a hasty decision to take out his brother. That's what he did say that, but that would not have been, it wouldn't have been my bullet. I know that.
But you can see the problems boiling over in Jenard's crew too, because like when the guy went to Shanti to vent, like he really was like, he looked like a pea, like he looking weak, and I was like, I don't know if people know that Shanti and Jenard are involved, but I wouldn't go venting to her if I knew that she was involved with Jenard.
think they have an idea, because he was like, your boy, he said, your boy is looking soft. Now, I don't know if he just knows that they cool, but he did make a point to say to her, your boy is looking soft. So I was like,
you might be writing a check that you can't cash. So that's why I was like, I don't know. That was a dumb move on his part. But Shanti really seems loyal to Jenard. Like, she keeps coming through for him.
You took the words right out of my mouth. I'm like, because girlfriend showed up quick and on time. I mean, I had no idea that how would I have known? I wouldn't have known. But the point is, she's got Jenard's back 100%. And the question is he going to screw that up?
Yeah. Because I mean, she got him out of his bind with Miguel, because he really could have been dead by the end of this episode if he hadn't paid up.
That's right.
And then here he is robbing Peter to pay Paul, taking money out of Miguel's stash to give to Merkovic. And I'm like, Jenard just had to bet all the way around if it wasn't for Shanti's support.
Exactly. That's why I feel like at some point, and I don't know this for sure, but remember I said last week that he may have to end up falling in line. He might have to work with Diamond. They might come back together, because it is too many things that are happening for him. There's he's barely making it, and his team doesn't respect him. Like, somebody from the inside could take him out because they don't respect him.
And that's the whole point. I mean, he was, quick draw, wanted to get away, wanted to get his own thing, do his own thing, and be his own man. And yet you can't think 2 inches from your nose. I mean, Diamond is the thinker, and he should have been, the commander, as, in other words, leading the pack, because Jenard is muscle. Leave it at that, and let Jenard do the thinking. And I think if Jenard had got with that program, things would have been okay. But this rush to be the boss and all this other stuff, it's got him nowhere. In fact, he's surrounded with enemies.
Yep, he really is. And like the nonsense of the beef between them, it really doesn't help, and it really makes the streets hot. So, and when you got people like Chicken Wing out here watching, you don't need to be making the streets hot.
You can blow that sax, though. I like that sax.
But another problem that they have, Tommy and Diamond at least, is the PO. He really popped up unexpected, asking for a urine sample, which, I think Tommy sees now exactly what Diamond has been saying about this new PO and how he's on his tail. So I was like, I was hoping that he could be bought or persuaded or something. They could find some kind of vice he got, but I don't think that's going to happen.
He's going to have to go. He's going to have to go. They might have to get him up out of there because he wasn't even discreet about it. That's because, Diamond is doing business and stuff. And we know that Diamond's still a little shady, but he had customers. And for him to come up there and demand a urine sample in front of his customers and stuff, he wasn't even he wasn't respecting him or giving him any type of dignity or anything. So that wasn't cool.
Yeah.
My thing is, I guess hope springs eternal, but I think he still can be bought because he's got a lot of street in him. But if he can't be bought, if he run up on Diamond like that one too many times with your boy in there, Tommy is not shy in taking out anybody,
Right.
Tommy might take him out.
That's what I said. He got to go. And even if Diamond doesn't do it, Tommy would do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. When the officer chick showed up to the barbershop, I thought that maybe the PO had sent her. I got scared for Diamond for a second.
Yeah,
but then I realized that was his boo thing.
Yeah.
So I was like, she all the way shady. I was just like, okay, she doing coke and stuff. Sleeping with Diamond. I mean, I'm like,
well, they met when he was inside.
Because I think he was a CO or something.
Yeah,
like that.
So she was giving it up inside. So hey, what can I say? Man's got to have it, I suppose. So I'm done.
Yeah, but here's the thing though. You got to be careful because she on his side now. But we saw that Diamond, that she ain't the only one that Diamond sleeping with.
Correct.
Right.
And so women will be
Oh,
women.
yeah.
And if she
Most definitely.
finds out that there's somebody else that he's dealing with, how far would she go? Would she hold that over his head? Would she turn down? Would she use her position to be another thorn in Diamond's side? So that's the thing he got to be careful about.
Probably. She probably would. Because, she seems to be, close to him, or she wants to be close to him. So, yeah, that might be an issue for Diamond.
Yeah, but let's talk about what happened as a result of this PO. And, Diamond had to hang back, but Tommy went on the run on his own. And so he actually went to make the drop to Miguel, and he ran into one of Miguel's guys who brought up, he was like, "Oh, you look familiar. Don't I know you from Julio or something like that?" And I was like, that was a nice little callback to the original Power.
Oh, right.
I thought so too, because, I know I never said this to y'all, but Julio was one of the deaths that really hit me hard. Like, besides like Raina and the other folks in the original Power, I was shook by Julio's death. That was my dude.
Yeah, Julio was a fan favorite, so I'm glad they brought it back up. And I wonder if his crew that he used to run with, the Toros, if they'll bring that into Chicago too and start mixing in some of that New York stuff going on over here in Chicago. So I guess we'll see. But surprisingly, this shootout ensues, and Tommy actually held his weight and was helping out, trying to show himself as being loyal to Miguel and the crew, and it was appreciated. Miguel definitely took notice. So that won Tommy some cool points. At least until Mom stepped on the scene.
Well, okay,
Abuela.
Yeah, Abuela, she's rough. She didn't feel Tommy at all. And I guess and Tommy need to learn to step back for a minute and kind of, take a look and see what's going on, because she was about all business, and she's like, I don't trust this white man. And
for good reason.
Good reason. And Chicago's so segregated, and plus a lot of times it's cultural. They don't all trust, And it made me think of Ozark, because the same thing happened with Gustavo when he brought Rita around. What's her name's mom? His ex-boo. Her mom was like, Who is this green rose that you brought?
Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about Snowfall.
Snowfall.
Snowfall. Yeah, I said Ozark. I meant to say Snowfall with Gustavo. But I'm just saying, it's the same type of.
Yeah,
he pushes in too quickly. I mean, had he just took a minute and had been introduced to her, that might have been a little different. I don't think she would have cared one way or the other.
No.
But that's stepping in and making a joke, and she wasn't having it. That's she wasn't having that at all.
Right.
So now when Tommy got shot, I'm thinking, okay, this can't be it for Tommy.
Right.
And so,
this is a show. It ain't it.
Yeah, this ain't
it.
Yeah,
he got a little graze to the side, like I think on near his stomach.
Was it a graze, or did they take out a bullet?
Maria looked like she was sewing him up a little bit, but it didn't look like anything serious.
Well, let me say this though. I appreciate the show for for giving us that hard hit this early. So you can't say that the season 2 is weak, because to get Tommy, hit Tommy this early in the show, episode 2. So I'm like, okay, they mean business.
They coming with it.
Characters can get it too.
Yeah,
they coming with it.
Yeah, but I thought it was interesting, Miguel's comment that he made about Tommy and him not having anything to lose. Yeah. And one of his crew members was saying that could be dangerous, and Miguel was saying that could also be valuable.
Absolutely.
And so I was like, okay, well, what does he have in mind? It's clear that he doesn't want to make any alliances with Tommy, and that he doesn't necessarily want to be directly in business with him because he doesn't trust him. But also, I feel like he might try to use Tommy as a pawn, in this war with the Serbs.
Yeah.
But seems like Tommy beat him to it.
Exactly. I mean, I think, as he's beginning to learn Tommy for what Tommy really truly is. He doesn't need to bring him inside. He just needs to let Tommy do what Tommy does. And, Tommy's like a wind-up toy. You wind him up and point him in a direction, and it's just going to go right into that direction. And with the Serbs taking out, Tommy is he's ruthless. I mean, he doesn't care who he takes out, when he takes them out. If you got to go, Tommy's taking you out.
Listen, it's the same callback. It's the same play that they did in OG Power. Remember, they did that to the Serbs before when they had
Yep.
they used Dre and shoot, what's his name? That Ruiz.
Right, Ruiz.
Used
Yeah.
all of them to sidetrack, you know, a little something over here, and they made it seem like another connect hit the
Right.
Serbs and stuff.
Right.
He called the same play only in Chicago. And then what the main goal is to make them go at each other and to wipe each other out, and then he and Diamond could be the connect.
And it's perfect too, except for there was a curveball in there because Tommy doesn't know about this situation with Che, and he said, don't make no move on the Serbs. He specifically told Miguel if he went behind his back and made a move, Maria was gonna get all kind of abused and slid up and passed around and some more stuff. So I was just like, Tommy's move could backfire real bad. Should Shay actually think that Miguel did it. So that's the only thing. It's like he's impulsive and he's definitely he's your go-to guy if you want stuff done. But a lot of times his plans have kickback that does not work out in his favor.
Because he doesn't think things through. He's so impulsive. And here's the thing. In this episode, you just saw a lot of power moves. Like, Jenard's crew was telling him, like, okay, if we don't hit back, you're going to look weak. Miguel was making the same case to Che, like, hey, if we don't hit back at the Serbs, we're going to look weak. And so I'm like, they're making the same argument, and everybody has a boss.
But when Miguel got to the drop off and saw his, the two Serbs that were planted there, and he was like, I don't give a damn about Shay anymore. It's on. So I don't know what's going to happen. It looks like from at this point somebody's got to go, either Miguel or his boss, and I don't think it's going to be Miguel.
He might have to take his
he's going to take
his boss out, and and put Maria and Abuela up somewhere. Somewhere safe.
Yeah.
But could Tommy's plan also backfire in the fact that he stole Miguel's drugs? And if they have like some kind of signature or something like that, like if people around town get a hold of these drugs and somebody says like, yo, where'd you get those from? And they point to Tommy and Diamond, word gets back to Miguel, he's like, oh, so you the one that really hit us. I'm like, could that backfire, the fact that he's trying to sell Miguel's drugs?
No, because the drugs aren't signature. They're not, they're not a signature type drug. It's a drug's a drug. It's the.
Well, I'm saying could also be signature, not on just in how the product looks, but in the packaging of it. Because Miguel was getting it straight from the plug.
Well, right now, when I saw the packaging when they opened the bag, I'm like, okay, that might be an issue. But then the question is, I guess that could be. I mean, if everybody knows, if there's some sort of,
potency or something, I don't know,
logo on the package or but I don't know. I don't know if it'll get to that point, because as angry as Miguel was, it seems like in our next episode, he's going for it.
Well, I think it's reactionary because he automatically is looking at the Serbs.
Yeah, well, when he had those bodies,
but once he puts two and two together, it might. That's what I'm saying. Tommy might not be out in the clear yet.
It's possible, but those two bodies, Tommy was smart as heck to plant those two bodies, the Serbs, at that scene. I mean, because theoretically, the only things Miguel could think of is that it was the Serbs. And who's to say that the Serbs didn't sell stole the drugs and sold it to Tommy? I mean, who's to say that didn't happen? I don't know. I mean, it's kind of convoluted. It's extremely convoluted to try to decide which way this is going. I mean, this is like a chess game that, I'm an amateur and I'm playing against a seasoned pro. I can't figure this one out. I can't.
Well, one thing I did notice is that Diamond seemed a little bit bothered by killing. And he was like asking Tommy, like, how are you so unfazed by all this death and killing and stuff like that? And so I was like, well, I don't know if Diamond is going to be down for the long haul, because Tommy definitely started a war. Even though he's not directly involved in it right now, he could easily get roped into it. And that's going to affect Diamond and his crew as well. So that's why I was like, I don't know if Diamond is necessarily built for all of this violence that Tommy is going to bring their way.
I started to say exactly the same thing. Is Diamond cut out for all this? Because, you know, the nature of your business is death. So if you can't handle that, you're in the wrong business.
Yeah. And the thing is, you've seen what happened towards the end of the episode where Tommy, you know, dude was scoping him out and Tommy ended up getting popped, you know, well, at least his car did. His car took a couple of hits.
Right.
So, and in the process, a child got killed. And so that's what I mean by the attention that Tommy draws. Like, he's got enemies that he's not even really aware of at this point. And so, you know, when the little girl got shot and now the detectives are like, okay, we're going to have to put this task force together.
Because of the statistics. When you think about Chicago in real life with the statistics and the crime and, you know, and stuff like that. And then now a little girl got killed. And it was because of Tommy, because they were shooting at Tommy. And you see who it was. It was Jenard's dude.
Jenard's guy.
Jenard had already told him to stand down.
Yeah.
So that's why it don't work out well for anybody. You know, they done started a war, and now they've drawn the Fed's attention.
Now the question
even
is,
more so than they already had.
Now the question is, did Tommy get a look at? And I don't know. Did Tommy get a good look at the person that shot at him? Do you think?
It didn't seem like it.
I think he's just too busy getting out of Dodge. I don't think he know, but he probably figured, because I mean, he has to know that there was going to be consequences from the Chewy.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's going to get back. I'm thinking it's going to get back to Jenard, and I think Jenard's going to take him out.
Maybe.
I think that's a good guess, because
he would have to. He
was disobedient.
Exactly.
He told him to stand down.
Exactly.
Yeah, so they definitely have issues, but they're not the only ones, because the Flynns, they got a lot of issues going on internally in their crew too. You know, Walter is introducing this new product into his line of drugs, and he's going to be selling a bad batch intentionally to the South Side.
Where the black folks stay. I was like,
exactly.
He gotta go. He definitely get on his hands for that.
Absolutely. The whole table of people sitting there, the pharmaceuticals guy and Flynn.
Yeah.
So that kind of like ticked me off, because I'm like, this sounds like a lot like real life.
It sounds like genocide, you know.
But also, it's like Vic is also flip-flopping too, because Tommy was trying to recruit him early on, and Vic was like, he kind of turned him down or whatever. But then later on, his father was also trying to recruit him too, which he had already kind of given Claudia the okay to run the pill business that they were going to do. But then he went back on his word and roped Vic in. And so he don't even know right now that Vic is about to play him.
I couldn't help it when Vic got stopped by the police and he gets out and he think everything is, you know, everything. And had he been a black man reaching behind him, there would have been 4 bullet holes in his chest.
Oh my gosh.
On GP. And I'm like,
I was like, white privilege.
That's
the first thing I thought. I was like, because he would have made it out alive if he was a brother.
Made it out. Absolutely.
And you heard him trying to throw around the Flynn name and stuff.
Yes. The way he did that, he wouldn't have got out of because dude tased him. Yeah. It would have been some bullets had he been a brother on that traffic stop. And even the scene in the store when you know, when he got busted having his liaison with the chick. Right. And he told dude, I can do what I want. And pulled the gun. I was like, and just strolled out of the store. Look, no mask on, nothing. Just strolled out of the store. I was like, White privilege.
And something else about Walter too, because Walter picks him up from the jail, or from the precinct. Walter knows that Vic is unhinged, but yet he keeps forcing Vic into the game. And I'm beginning to wonder, is he trying to really set him up? Is he really setting him up? And as far as Claudia is concerned, if she's going to take Walter out, I mean, you can only damage her but so much.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this looked like the last straw to me.
I'm thinking the same thing. He keeps going back to Victor because Victor is the son. He wants Victor, like, not only are they racist, they sexist too. So he, even though he knows that Claude really wants this and probably has the appetite to do this, you heard what he said. He told her, he was like, no, you don't have balls. Your brother does. He's a guy, so he's trying to make Vic play the part, whereas Claudia wants the part. You see, she'll do anything. Like, we know that Claudia likes women. She slept with Brendan Doyle to get the information that she needed. Y'all know that Brendan Doyle is Duffy from P-Valley.
But he gave it to her at first. I mean, he said, okay, this is what I want you to do. I want you to run this new drug campaign, whatever. And he gave it to her. And then as soon as he got Vic, or what he thought has Victor on his side, he snatches it away from her like it's no big deal.
Yep. Because Vic said.
And then we know what Vic said, because Vic is up to no good. He wants to bring him down from the inside, which I'm glad to see. But
he gonna bring not only Walter down, he on Claudia too. Because I think what she said to him when they met up, I think she rubbed him really the wrong way for the last time with that whole Gloria situation and everything. And so I think, when she also mentioned that, if they don't repay what's owed to Dublin, then they done. That was all Vic needed to hear. He was like, okay, bet I'm gonna sabotage this whole situation.
Yeah, it would make sense for Claudia to somehow show Vic how the father is pitting the two of them against one another, because really Walter's behind this whole thing. I don't think Claudia can walk away completely, because she really has no place to go. But she's going to have to find a way to mend that relationship with her brother, or somehow bring him aboard with her, because really their enemy is their dad.
Yeah, but he's done with Claudia. Well, she's a control freak just like Walter. And Vic is tired of being used and abused by that family. He's trying to do his own thing. And when he attacks, he's coming for Walter and Claude. So that's what I know. I can't wait to see how he plans to do it, because right now he's kind of a one-man army.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, from the inside, he's going to gain his father's trust, and then he's going to sabotage some things and put him in the crosshairs. But Claudia, she better watch it, because the Flynns, all of the Flynns, the only one I think is kind of safe is Vic from Tommy.
Yeah.
Because Claudia and Walter are in Tommy's crosshairs.
Right. Yep. Yeah, so if Vic don't take him out, Tommy will. You see when they were asking. Vic,
because he had Vic, remember when he was holding a gun to his head and everything and stuff. Yeah, he knows it wasn't Vic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, this episode was good. It's a good setup for the season, because you really don't know. It could go anywhere from here.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, I'm really excited to see how the rest of the season turns out. But these first 2 episodes have come with the heat. Yep. Very solid.
They have.
So, I think we can do our who can get the hands list now. I think we already mentioned Walter and the pharmaceutical dude can get on the hands list. Anybody else you guys want to nominate?
Still Claudia.
I'm thinking hands list. Yeah, I agree, Claudia and Jenard. Now I would say his boy that switched up on him and was shooting at Tommy. He can get the hands too.
Yeah, but I blame Jenard too, because Jenard just grabbed folk from the street. He doesn't. I don't even know if he really has an understanding or knowledge of these people.
Well, we can't put out an application for
No,
his
he
boys.
can't. But I know, but
on the street.
But you got to have some idea of who you bringing inside, because I just don't think he really. I don't think he really has any kind of hardship.
Leadership.
Actually, leadership abilities, because yeah, you're right. You can't put out an application on this thing, but you got to know who you're bringing in and if they're trustworthy. And because really, I only saw one guy that may be trustworthy as far as hanging with Jenard, but the rest of them, every time he says to do one thing and they want to do another, and it's this act back and forth. So if he doesn't take out the dude that shot at Tommy, it's going to be an issue in his camp.
Well, you gotta think about
saying, beggars can't be choosers. And he's in a desperate situation right now. He got to take what he can get. He already tried to go to cousin Buddy. Last season, Diamond already snatched them up. So that ain't an option for Jenard.
Right.
So right now he's in a position where he can't be picky.
Well, go back to your brother.
Right. That's what's probably going to have to happen. But the thing is this, it's about code. And in the street, there's a code. The thing is, when somebody you love, you care about, somebody trying to your team gets hit, normally there is retaliation and stuff. And so that's the code he was operating off of. Because you don't think about it. When you think about the OG power, when Dre said that that when he lied and said what's the called was away. 2 Bits, that was his issue with Dre. When he turned on Dre, he found out that he was killed, that Dre killed him and stuff like that, and he wanted to retaliate against Dre about that. So I just think it's a matter of code.
It is, but it's also Jenard didn't say no. He just said not right now.
Right, and
that's what I'm saying. He was disloyal. He was disobedient.
But what Jenard said, he had that moment of some consciousness when he said, we got this problem over here. We're trying to make money. We don't need that heat right now. We don't need to go out there and revenge this guy at this point. Like you said, he didn't say we won't do it. He said, but right now, we're just, everything's coming at us in all ends, and we just have to focus and get our game together. And that's true. You can't just run out in the street and start killing folk. You got too many. Now you got Tommy on your hands, and that's a big problem.
Yeah,
that's what Diamond already told. Diamond said, you don't want Tommy on
you. Right. So that dude, Lil K, can definitely get the hands. And I think the last person I'm gonna add is the PO. He can get the hands too, because he was disrespectful.
Yeah, he was disrespectful.
Yeah, true.
Any nominees for the game ball?
Game ball.
I was gonna say Maria. This is the second time
Maria
came through.
She came through. She's clutch because she saved the nephew. She hooked Tommy up and stuff. So Maria is the she can get the game ball.
Shanti,
yeah.
Shanti too.
Yeah.
The ladies coming through this episode.
Yeah, the sisters are coming through. The sisters coming through.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That sounds about right.
Yeah, so this was a good one. Do you guys have any predictions or any last things you want to add before we close out?
I think that we should add, since the strike is ongoing and stuff, and of course we're in solidarity with everybody involved, the writers and the actors and stuff. But I think we should point out that in our playlist that we have interviews with Chris Lofton, who plays Jenard, Anthony Fleming III, who plays JP, and Isaac Keys, who plays Diamond. So those of you who are Force fans, look at our playlist and check out those interviews.
Yep, and we also recently interviewed the gentleman behind the scenes too, with the director and
Derek Big Tank Thornton.
Big Tank Thornton, who does the music.
Rivera.
The music, and
you guys read
Rivera, the director.
That was a good interview too. That's a great interview. Excellent interview.
Thank you. So
I'm sorry I
Yes.
missed it. It's just I was watching it and a little jealous. I was a little jealous.
they definitely gave us some good behind the scenes info. So go check those out. Watch those. They're in the interviews playlist, just like Tip said. Mm-hmm. So if you guys want to give us your predictions or any comments you have about this episode, drop down in the comment section and let us know. Also, be sure to follow us on social media. We are at The Spot Real Talk on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok, everywhere. Also, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Click that notification bell and the like button. Tell your mama, your cousin, your brother, anybody in your family, your friends about The Spot Real Talk, because this is where it's at. So,
you got any enemies? Tell them to.
I'll take it.
I'll take them.
On that note, I think we're going to call it a night. So thanks again for watching, and make sure you're back here next week for a recap of episode 3. Good night.
Good night.
Bye.
Yeah. Let's go. We just gotta go hard. I go the hard.